I've mentioned this before in other videos, but I never specifically actually talked about it. And what I mean, what I'm referring to, is the paradigm shift we are experiencing with the cultural war going on. The fact is, we are in a civil war, a cultural civil war. The paradigm has shifted now to a PC culture that if you offend anybody, it is because you are the worst trait of that offense. And what I mean by that, if you attack somebody for whatever reason, you are automatically could be labeled a racist. Let's say you attack or you insult a black kid, maybe for doing poorly in a test. Yes, I'm not advocating bullying, but for the sake of example, let's say you do that. You are automatically labeled a racist because all types of insults, because we base on identity politics that all type of insults directed at an individual are the summation of that person's ethnicity or that person's gender or that person's, I guess you should say, psychological gender, that person's sex, whether that person is straight, gay, bisexual. It always is directed, or it's perceived as directed, to the worst kind of summation for the insults. And I think that is wrong. And there is a cultural civil war going on here, a PC culture. And this is the fundamental reason that Donald Trump won. It was because Donald Trump was not PC. Donald Trump attacked back. And I know a lot of times his Twitter feed, even kind of, I disagree with. I understand that it is a necessity because if he would give in to the cultural PC police, if he would give in to what the left wants him to, then they essentially won. People wake up every day now, the progressives especially, and the first thing they ask themselves is, how can I be a victim? And that's where the distinction lies. For the most part, there are a lot of Americans and who still adhere to the founding principle of America, and that is that you build your own future, that you are self-reliant, that you do what is best for your own self-interest. You may receive help on the way, but you don't believe you deserve help. You will do what you can and then maybe ask help. In contrast, we have this regressive vision that they are victims and they deserve things. You know, the government doesn't have anything. So to give you something, they have to take it from somebody else. And that's the fundamental flaw in this argument, is that you believe that you have a right to somebody else's labor. That you wake up and, you know what, I don't make as much money as I should. So I think I deserve a bigger raise. I think government should raise the minimum wage because I deserve it. It's not fair that rich people make so much and I make so little. They should spread the wealth around. They have enough of it. And this argument is just so incredibly flawed. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not. Yet, I think if you really want to talk about fairness, we should do a flat tax. Maybe 10% for everybody. That would be a flat tax. And then you have people argue that, well, that's not fair though. Why not? Well, because the rich are paying just as much as the poor. No, they're not. If a guy's making $100,000 compared to a guy making $1,000, 10% of the 100,000 will be a lot more than 10% of the 1,000. They preach fairness. They want fairness, but they don't want fairness. They want more of somebody else's labor. That is wrong. America wasn't built that way. You build your own future. America was founded on free enterprise, the free market. You have people like Dianne Feinstein who like to claim that the Constitution is malleable and that over time we have to change our fundamental principles to adapt to changing circumstances. And that's not true because our founding fathers were smart. And they knew, as Thomas Jefferson said, liberty is when the government fears the people. And the progressives, they want government control. And they want people to be relied upon. The government wants people to rely on them. That they are their big brother. So whenever something is wrong, the government wants control of it. That's the progressive ideology. And we have snowflake millennials who align with this belief so much so that if you even disagree with them and their chosen belief, you are automatically labeled as the summation of the worst possible thing. If they are a Muslim, you are labeled as a racist because you disagree with them. If they are black, racist. If they are a tranny, you are transphobic. I mean, it's never just, well, you disagree with their policies. It's you disagree with their humanity. And that is such a poor argument. And that is the cultural war that is happening, the civil war that is happening. And it really is an anomaly. Because when you think about it, where did this come from? What has changed that we experience such a major paradigm shift that people can completely assume the worst in others? I remember back in the day when you met someone and you assumed they were good. If they were, it doesn't matter what party they aligned to. It doesn't matter what affiliation they had. You assume they're good people because when it comes down to it, we are people first. But nowadays, if you even go to a comment section on YouTube or if you go somewhere out in the street and you meet someone with a different point of view than you, there's hatred there. There's animosity there. I mean, we belittle each other now. I don't understand where this came from. But what I do know is that we have seen similar things in the past, like with the civil rights era of the 60s. And what is comforting to me anyways about this is that, like in the past, this will change. And I think that it will change for the better, that this cultural PC that I'm a victim every day will go back to the way it was. We'll go back to, you know what? I'm stronger than this. I'm independent. I'm not dependent on the government. I don't demand someone else's labor. I can work myself. I can accomplish things myself. I don't need handouts. I don't need help from them. I don't deserve stuff. I deserve what I make for myself. And I do believe that we will go back to this. I do believe we will go back to this. It's sad that we have devolved so much into this new mentality that this new philosophy is being taught in schools. I have made videos where you've seen videos of teachers essentially brainwashing their students towards this type of mentality. And it's sad. And I think we really need to just clear house. We need to just clear house and get all of these political hacks, these partisans out of there and start new. Let's start anew. That's the only way that we can actually bridge the gap between each other and the only way that we can actually approach this in a new way that would actually work. We have been devolving these last 12 years. It's time to go back to where things were, because when we focus more on liberty and individual rights, you will see that things will definitely increase for the better. Things will definitely get better, and I hope we can go back to that point. And